right, Sean. Welcome to the Sports Episode. It's good to chat to you again about rugby, and obviously with the season just happening and been a lot of interesting movements with the Sharks. It's good to catch up with you and see what's been happening. Sean, never nice to not being able to lift the Currie Cup, but there's been lots of positives that have come from the season. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, very much so. Obviously, we don't look at the whole season as in one game. That just takes away the fun out of the ride to the final. But yes, obviously disappointed in not lifting the trophy. I thought the guys, did well and probably played well enough to win it, but didn't bring the cup home. But a lot of positives throughout the season. A very difficult season and a frustrating one, not just for the Sharks but for everyone. A lot of challenges with COVID, and we experienced some injuries which perhaps we didn't have in Super Rugby early in 2020. But at the same time, the positives from those adversities is that everyone got an opportunity to play. We tested the depth of our squad. We managed to bring through a lot of youngsters. And I think, the players individually would have grown from a mental toughness point of view. A week never went, according to plan until the last 2 weeks where we were unaffected by the pandemic. So yes, the guys, learned to get on with things and obviously control the controllables.
Yeah, Sean, that's why I take my hat off to you, because you mentioned a few things there. Obviously COVID, playing in the summer sun, it's always tough. Lots of injuries. You just managed to do so well throughout the season. I know you may be difficult at times, game by game, but it really is a stepping stone for a lot of learners who perhaps might have had an opportunity if these situations didn't happen. And do you feel that the youngsters really grew in this regard?
Yes, very much so. One just has to look at Dylan Richardson. He got an opportunity to play at hooker early in the year. And then we had young Faison Bartu, who was fourth choice hooker, who played in under-21 competition during the lockdown period. Just comparing those two guys, so Dylan ended up, due to James Fenter being injured and having COVID and having a concussion, the poor guy had a torrid time. But Dylan came through really well on the flank and stood out, which then opened the door for Dan Jooste and Faison Bartu to fight it out. Unfortunately, in the semis and the final, Kieran van Vuuren had COVID. But if the guys put their hands up, you've got to look at the likes of a guy like JJ van der Mescht. Pepsi had some good time at number 8. In the competition, a youngster that no one really knows of at senior rugby, Andre Jacobs, he's still in 20. He got a shot off the bench. So, the guys that travelled up to Pretoria for the final, there were 5 guys that were in the match 23, and Pepsi Buthelezi, unfortunately, came up as part of the 26, but didn't take the field. But, a hell of a lot of positives as far as that's concerned. Jaden Hendricks came through as an under-21, as an under-20 player. Not many guys knew of him. And then obviously Senatla got extended time in the number 9 jersey. So, really pleasing. And some of the senior players, Marius Lowe, Jeremy Ward got game time with the departure of Everitt.We. So yes, the squad played rugby, and that's what adds to the dynamics of the team.
Yeah, that sounds great, Sean. Some lovely, promising talent coming through the ranks. Well done, Sean. That's great. One player that obviously I felt had a good season is Currie Bosch. He's obviously doing what is necessary to take his career a step higher. Do you feel there's a chance that he could even be recognized internationally in a not too long distant future?
Yeah, I agree. One forgets that this is the first campaign that Currie has finished as the first choice 10 and the game manager and manager of the team. So it was a good year for him. He grew a lot as far as maturity is concerned and directing the play on the field. One forgets that not too long ago, he was playing fly-off with Louis Schroeder, who's really experienced being a Springbok, and outside him was Everitt.We. So, I'm sure he would have missed him. So with the young nines, both young nines, inside him and obviously a relatively inexperienced Marius Lowe on the outside, I thought he coped really, really well. The areas of his game has improved dramatically. His confidence has been good. And then off the tee, he's been really good for us as well. He was kicking over 80% in the Currie Cup, won us games. with his general kicking play. One has to look back to the cross kick that he kicked for Yarpenkway against the Bulls at Kings Park to win the game, and then he did the same for Madosh Tambwe. So yes, he's got things to work on, but he's certainly grown in other aspects of his game, which is pleasing for us.
Yeah, I know, and I think only being 23 years of age is another exciting prospect. But Sean, it's always an interesting one where, there's always people saying, well, you should have done this and you should have done that. You can't play the perfect game. It's impossible, but you just go through the season and, you said a few things that are really, really vital for the young guy. How does he sort of handle the mental side of things when he says, you know what, I know I've got to keep going because maybe this might have been a little bump on the road, but I know I'm on to better things.
Everyone looks at the final and he missed a few kicks. Yes, he did, and that's human. He's not the only quicker kicker in the world to have an off game. Nice work many years ago. I can't remember who they were playing against. Missed a hell of a lot of kicks in the game. So they all do it. Morné Steyn missed one at Kings Park to draw the game, and Chris Smith missed one in the 80th minute to win the game. So. These things do happen. I can tell you on Friday, the day at captain's practice, he couldn't miss. So I wouldn't say it's a BMT thing, because if it was BMT, he wouldn't have got the ones over in the game. And he did strike a few from fair distance. And to prove his big match temperament, against Western Province, he actually won us the game. And if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have been in the final. And John Dobson commented on that afterwards. That was the difference between the two teams. And then you go back in the season and you look at the Cheetahs in Durban, as I mentioned earlier. He also kicked well to poles in that game, and then winning us the game in the 83rd minute at Kimberley with a 45-metre penalty. So, he's got BMT. I would just like to compare it to a golfer who had a bad day, and I have many of them.
Yes, no, absolutely. Well, as long as he keeps going, because there's so much potential there, great things await him, I'm sure of that. Very, very sure of that. Yeah. Well, Sean, you just look at some of the performances throughout the years, obviously winning the Currie Cup in 2018, final in 2017. It's sort of like a great tool and motivation for the squad. And do you feel that also adds to sort of, keep the standards high there? Because the Sharks are always there in the shout, either winning it or jolly in the final. It's a good way to keep the standards high.
Yeah, I think in this campaign, with if you look at the names that were injured throughout the campaign, Sabu, of course, he probably played half the games. Pimpy went to Japan. Lucanio got injured early and he was out for 8 weeks. And Thomas was unfortunately, injury prone throughout the campaign and only really came back for the semi-final and final. So it was a difficult campaign, and obviously we got some new guys in the squad as well, like Tembelani, Borley and Aston Fontaine, who got opportunities, but they hadn't played rugby for quite a long time. So because they were at the Kings, and unfortunately they shut down. So it was challenging, but I think that just shows the fight in the team. They want to do well for the franchise, and the players really do play for each other. And the effort that they displayed on Saturday for 100 minutes, is to be commended and an example, of the fight that they have within the group. So not an easy campaign, and not always big names in our squad. And I thought the guys came through well at an average age of 23 and a half years old.
Definitely, Sean. And it was such nice, I would say, attacking rugby. You really were attacking, and it seemed to be such an organised approach. And do you feel that just sort of is the way to go forward with rugby? I know it can be a physical game in South Africa without a doubt, but you obviously do enjoy the attacking side of things.
Yeah, we do. We play what's presented to us. So, people said we kicked a lot of the ball away in the final. The Bulls kicked more than us. We kicked 28 times. They kicked 34. The teams that are kicking the most now are the teams that are successful. But it's how you kick the ball. So we're kicking it to regain possession. And when we're in our 22, we feel that we've got more of a chance of winning the ball out of the air than stealing a line-out from the opposition. And then at the same time, credit must go to certain teams whose defenses are really outstanding. Which means that because they've got lots of numbers in the front line defensively, there is space behind. So it's not a thing where we don't want to attack or whatever. We certainly do, but we also have to be sensible and attack when it's the right time.
Absolutely. Well, Sean, like you said, it's been a busy and interesting time. How long are you guys on a break for now? What's sort of your next sort of approach?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. The guys went off yesterday on leave, and they will return for COVID testing on the 21st of February.
Okay.
To prepare for the start of the Franchise Cup, which hasn't been finalised yet, but it looks like it could start on the 28th of February.
All right. And Sean, European ambitions, are you looking forward to what we can say, like a new challenge?
Yes, very much so. I really enjoyed Super Rugby. I've been part of it for a while. And I think, it's an attractive brand of rugby, which is played by teams that want to play expensively and want to have high ball in play minutes. So, yes, it's something that suited us, and we recruited and built our team around Super Rugby and the intensity and the speed of the game. But, yes, this is going to be a new challenge. I think it's fresh. Yes, we might need to tweak a few things, and we learned those lessons in the Currie Cup as far as our squad makeup is concerned. But all in all, very interesting times, playing against probably the spectators in South Africa don't know all those players, but you could be playing against full international teams every week.
True.
If you look at the smaller countries, Edinburgh and Glasgow make up Scotland, so if you split that squad in half, you'll find that you're playing against 50 Scottish guys in each team. And then the same for Wales and the same for the Irish team. So it's going to be a challenge for all of us, and not just the Sharks. I'm talking about all the franchises in South Africa going across, and certainly, the weather conditions will be very different to what we used to, especially us coming from Durban. But I think it's a great opportunity for our guys to obviously experience different things, grow from that experience, and become a better rugby player.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be great rugby. I feel it's going to be really interesting. I'm going to miss Super Rugby. I agree with you, but also, there's nothing wrong with maybe one or two new changes, and it'll be good.
No, absolutely.
But Sean, there has been some big changes at the Sharks and some really big announcements. So you're looking forward to a few good seasons ahead?
Yes, we are. We've, as everyone knows, we signed a partnership deal with MVM. We also know that there hasn't been rugby with spectators for some time now, since last year in March. So there has to be income. So obviously from a financial point of view, that helps us. And then going into 2021, I can see it being another challenging year from a financial point of view. So yes, there's gives us opportunity to look at our squad and not overhaul it, but certainly just fill up the gaps where we felt that we're under pressure. We would normally do that after a season anyway, when we review the players and the individuals concerned. But no one at the Sharks has been asked to leave to make way for players coming, I can assure you.
No, that's good. That's really good to hear, Sean. Well, Sean, as always, really lovely to chat to you. Thank you for the chat, and we're wishing you guys well. Like I said, it's been awesome to guys watch you through the season, and take my hat off to how you've had to manage the interesting situation. So well done, and I'm sure we'll chat again in terms of how the European season goes.
No, thanks very much, Ryan. Always nice chatting to you.
All right, Sean. Play well. All the best.
All right. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.